Canada is not the same country anymore as it used to be. Everything is going down. Houses are unaffordable. A lot of people are saying, how did the Liberals win again? How did it happen? And people are reaching out to me and they're like saying, Igor, a lot of people we speak to in Alberta especially, they're so conservative there. They're thinking in the right way, but I don't understand why did Liberals win again? And I'm going to try to uncover this little secret in this video. And I want to have your contribution in the comments down below. I know a lot of you guys watching this video are not subscribed to this channel, so please do subscribe. It's free. There is no money for it. And hit the like button. And let's talk about it. So first thing is, we have a huge problem in Canada. And people are like, well, how did Mark Carney, come to power again? Let me try to give you a little bit of a historical background. So what has happened is that real estate, like houses, detached houses, in 1980s, they were about $70,000, right? And right now, across Canada, they're, well, at least in Alberta right now, it's like 10 times more, the prices of the houses. And in places like Toronto, let's say, or Vancouver, situation is even better for people who have their houses paid off. Now, that's one cookie, one clue on what is going on. The second one is majority of people voting Liberal is actually senior people. It's baby boomers, meaning those people who have the mortgages paid off. That means one thing. Interest rates don't bother them. It can be 5%, it can be 15%. They don't care because they don't have a mortgage to pay. So the bank interest rates don't have impact on those people. Most of their mortgages are paid off. Most of the houses in Canada, why they do not crash is because they have paid off mortgages. And they are the ones who are voting for most of them are voting for Liberals. And I'll tell you why I think that is the case. The case for that is that their entire livelihood savings are not actually in their bank account, but in the property that they paid off, in their equity. So what is the life hack for those guys? And I mind you, those people don't care if the market has crashed right now compared to 2022, because for them, since 1980s, they still have a lot of money. Yeah, they would of course want to have more money like it was in 2022, especially in Ontario. In Alberta, it's not a bad situation right now. Even with the prices going down, they haven't dipped a lot, especially for detached houses. But I want to tell you guys that those guys, they place their chips, like casino chips, on Liberals so that housing would not crash. And I think it's like an unspoken rule, like you don't crush the housing, because that's going to make a lot of people, senior people, go bankrupt. They won't have any money. They don't have pension. A lot of them don't have jobs anymore. And the pension comes from the government unless they had government jobs or some kind of special benefits. A lot of people don't. So they're dependent on that equity. And that's all they have. So I helped a lot of those guys, senior guys, relocate to Calgary, Alberta, purchase real estate here after they sold their real estate in Toronto or Vancouver. So a lot of those folks, what they did is they sold their property there. They got a better property here, bigger, newer, better, and they still have hundreds of thousands of dollars back on their bank account as savings that they basically kind of upgraded their standard of living, I would even say, and they still have some money because of the housing appreciation, because of their equity growth. And that's their plan, to live off that money and hopefully survive long enough to enjoy it. And they are the ones, baby boomers are usually voting. Now, hear me out. There is a big problem in Canada, and that's why I'm saying Canada is going down. Because, for example, in the United States, you need 4 years of annual income to purchase a home, where in Canada, you need 9 years of annual income to purchase a home, which is more than 2 times more complicated and more expensive to buy real estate in Canada. And it's pretty bad situation, especially for millennials, not for baby boomers, because their real estate is paid off. And I'll tell you, baby boomers right now, they don't care if the rents go up or they go down by a lot, because if their properties are already fully paid off, for example, if the real estate is fully paid off, it doesn't really matter for them what is happening, because they don't have a mortgage. Their expenses do not go up. Yes, the rents went down, let's say, they're making a little bit less money, or or they went up. It's good for them, they're making more money, but it doesn't drastically impact the livelihood of those investors who do not have mortgages, who have the real estate paid off. I just came back from Edmonton. I was just helping one of my clients, investors, purchase property, basically 2 separate properties with a bunch of tenants in them. And I spoke to the tenants, and tenants are like my age. Some of them are older and, like in their late 30s and early 40s, just so you know. And they were complaining that they'll probably never own anything in Canada. And it's in Edmonton. It's still cheaper than Calgary. It feels still like there's more opportunities in Alberta than Ontario or BC. If people are complaining here, I can only imagine how bad it is in Ontario. And the solution of the Liberal government. Now, guys, I'll give a quick disclosure. I work with EXP Realty as a real estate agent, okay? And people are asking me, Igor, what do you do for a living in Canada? Well, I do multiple things. I basically own a bunch of businesses. So I'm into general contracting. I'm a licensed general contractor in Calgary, Alberta, and I also am licensed in commercial, especially commercial and residential cleaning. So I have different kinds of crews, different kind of businesses that I run, and that's what I do in addition to real estate. So I'm not only focused into buying or selling real estate, I have other services as well. The company's name is RY Group, and I'm fully licensed. Anyways, let's keep going, guys. Now, what the government is doing, they're trying to make affordable housing, but hear me out, they're not making it affordable for you. So I'll tell you, for example, about a product called MLI Select. Now, I don't deal with commercial real estate much, but I'll tell you how it works. Is basically you can buy a commercial property with less than 20% down for rent, as long as the certain amount of units are below the market rent, so that if rent becomes more affordable. That's how the government, they don't incentivize you or me as a homeowner to buy, but they incentivize investors to buy or build real estate and make it more affordable for the tenants by giving them better interest rates, longer amortization periods, and and less than 20% down. So it's a point-based system. Now, if you are interested in investing into commercial real estate and you need a mortgage, I'll leave a phone number in the description of this video. My wife, Nitu Reltsev, she's a licensed mortgage broker in Ontario and Alberta, and she works with mortgage architects. Anyways, if you're interested, reach out to her. She knows more details than I do. And they have a point system in this entire system to approve you. So what they do is they say, okay, you take a mortgage, but you have to guarantee that your rents are going to be less than the market rent. I don't know exactly specifically how they evaluate it, but that's how it's done, and you are incentivized to invest into real estate to make rents more affordable. Now, they're also building a lot of houses, but not houses, but homes, more like like a pencil case size studio apartments in Toronto especially, and they're building tiny little homes that are more affordable than detached homes, because detached homes went in price by so much, they're super expensive. And to make housing more affordable, they're not building a lot of detached houses right now here in Canada. Most of the construction is happening actually to increase the supply of condo apartments, and that's what they are doing to make housing more affordable, not to make more detached homes, but to make a place where you're going to be, basically living and happy in a small, congested place, or even better, a dystopian future where almost communism, I was born in Soviet Union, just for your disclosure information, I didn't like it so much that it collapsed, guys, when I was still a kid. Anyways, I'll tell you something interesting about Soviet Union. Canada is moving that way. The idea was nobody owns nothing and everyone is happy. And, it's almost moving communism way. This socialism here is turning almost into communism. It's like, in communism, you don't get to own nothing. So If everybody is a tenant, I would argue, if this would still this be classified as a democracy or not? Because if everyone is dependent on their landlords and everything, I'll tell you, a lot of people are raising their kids right now. They're not sure if their kids are going to be able to afford anything. I'll tell you what I'm doing from my side. I'm taking things into my own hands right now, and I'm actually, well, at least trying to do that. It's pretty damn difficult. Everything is so expensive. But I'm buying real estate, investing into real estate to leave something behind, because once I go old, it should be paid off by the time my kids are old enough so they can take over the real estate that once I'm gone, it's theirs, so that they don't have to worry about it. Because I'm afraid that by the time my kid is going to be like, oh shoot, he's growing too fast. I was going to say 20 years from now, but in 20 years from now, he's going to be 25. So I have a decade left. So yeah, by the time the kid is 18, if I want them to own anything, you know what? I have to act right now, because by that time things are going to probably get only worse. There's the trend of market situation going on right now. They would never be able to afford anything, and luckily I'm in Calgary, Alberta, where we still have some opportunities. So I have to take it into my own hands, and I see more and more of those things happening, especially amongst immigrant societies, because we are brought up in such a poverty. Especially where I'm coming from, I'm brought up in like, guys, I come from a poverty that poor people in Canada would not enjoy. The poverty level that I encountered when we were living in the 1990s. Luckily I had a roof over my head, but that's about it. I don't want to talk about my dark childhood histories, but I'll tell you, I grew up in a fog of cigarette smoke, alcoholism, cockroaches, and insane poverty. That's my very early childhood memories of how I was growing up. So yeah, I know I don't look like that person. I don't drink or smoke or anything, but it's fine. It's a topic for another video. A lot of Canadians are blessed to be living in this country, even with all the hurdles and all the things that are going on right now in Canada. I believe Canada is still way above the place where I come from, and far 100 times better than the place where I come from. But anyways, it's getting a little bit worse. It's getting a little bit bad because of I'm trying to close the road, guys. It's a school zone, but people are speeding in so much that I'm a little bit worried about it. Give me a second, guys. I want to make it across the road and everything. Okay, let's go. So we are, at least people stopped, but I'm still a little bit anxious about it. Anyways, the idea in Canada is to basically, guys, the idea in Canada is basically to make rent affordable and not the house as affordable. And it's done because a certain layer of population, in my opinion, this is all my opinion, is betting on liberals that the real estate is not going to crash, because they'll literally lose all of their incomes. Now, they do know that they cannot rely on the pension system in Canada or a social system to support them. Canada does some crazy stuff. I'm Ukrainian. I'm born and raised in Ukraine. Well, at that time it was Soviet Union when I was born. Anyways, I'll tell you something interesting about this entire situation. We have Trump, we have tariffs, and the latest actions by liberal government was to basically put elbows down, not elbows up, bottoms up probably. Then it was to give $2 billion to Ukraine. And now, as somebody who is Ukrainian and Canadian Ukrainian, it's great. But I would say, knowing the country where I came from, I wouldn't give them $2 billion, because it's going to go, where, into their own hands, and it's not going to be spent the way they're supposed to be spent. So I hope Canada has some repercussions. Otherwise, they just lost $2 billion. It would probably be better provided ammunition or some kind of humanitarian help than the money itself to be spent, You cannot just keep on printing money. But I'll tell you guys, the worst part about it is that as Ukrainian, I'll never see that money. And as a Canadian, you will never see that money. But all of our, okay, that's one of my contractors stopping by. This guy, by the way, this is my contact information. If you're interested in buying real estate, I gotta head out. I have to go and talk to my contractor here. But I'm just telling you guys, Canada just recently recognized State of Palestine, which is okay. But how does it solve our current problems with housing and things that are happening in Canada? It's pretty difficult. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Hope things get better. Canada still is a better country than most, but we'll see how it goes, guys. See you in the next video. Bye for now. I want to read your comments. What do you think about the future in Canada and your own prospects here? Bye for now.